Good morning, Mr. Shane.
Good morning, Sarat.
Okay.
Is this one asking me what do I do at my site?
Yeah, what do you do at your site?
Okay. I'm a middle school art teacher, and I just do art projects with students. I think I try to get them to design and build things that they're interested in and things that they like to do, and then I also try to get them to use different tools and techniques that they haven't used or learned before.
I remember you trying to help me get to use some stuff. You did help me. I did not like sharp things at all, but I managed to learn how to use an X-Acto knife.
Hey,
I still don't like them, but I still managed to learn how to use them.
Okay.
How did you land your current role? I think they mean how did you land your role as a teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied woodworking and furniture design at San Diego State, and I originally was a carpenter, and I worked as a project manager before this. And then my mentor from college had this position and said that I would be good for it, and so recommended me, and I applied.
Oh.
Yeah. So I didn't really study to be a teacher, but now that I've been here, I've gotten my credential and I've got my master's, and yeah.
This is just one of my personal questions. You said you went to High Tech High.
Mm-hmm.
Did that influence you to work here or anything, or was it just a coincidence that you ended up working here?
It was pure coincidence. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it helps because the student perspective has helped me a lot when I'm trying to get kids to do things or design projects. I can think of my own experience a lot, and so that helps me to better understand.
Nice. Okay. Did you have any mentors to help you get where you said that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I had a lot of people that were mentors for me. Ruben Fote was the guy who was at the position before me, but he was a graduate student when I was an undergrad, and he just helped me out a lot. He helped me to apply to different competitions and different scholarships and stuff for art and furniture making. And he also just became a good friend and would help give advice, and he was older, so that was nice. After that, before I was a carpenter, after undergrad and before becoming a carpenter, I sought out different mentors because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I really wanted to do industrial design at one point, and so I found this guy. His name was Jim McJunkin.
His
actual name is really cool. He used to be the lead designer for Nissan.
Oh.
And he helped me out for a while, and he would just consult with me and give me advice on things and how to get to different positions and how to apply, and so that's been really helpful. And then as a teacher, I've just found a lot of my coworkers and other people that I work with to be mentors. Chris Mutter at International has helped me out a lot. Jeremy Farson, who was my advisor in high school, is also still a mentor and someone that I look up to and seek advice from. So it's been really helpful to have those people that have the experience and they're willing to talk to you, and knowing what you don't know and what you need to know is really helpful in those situations, because then you can ask and get some guidance.
Jeremy's a good person to ask for opinions because he's so positive about it. He's you can do this, you're so good at it, keep trying. So that's probably, I hope that helped you a lot.
Yeah.
That helped me. He adds some positivity onto my animations and stuff when I show him, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's great at that.
Describe some highlights of your work.
I think my highlight has been building the tiny houses. That was the most fun year, I think. We just had a teaching team that was let's go for this and let's do it. And they were just super resourceful, super positive. We had a really supportive parent community that year. Not to say that most aren't, but they just were above and beyond most years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had parents come in that were plumbers and electricians and framers, and they showed us how how to build all these houses, and we just built two tiny houses right in front of the school. And the kids were just like so stoked on coming in and working on it every day, and so that was really fun.
That sounds like fun. I would have wanted to build a tiny house. I would have kept it.
Yeah.
I would have brought it home.
So one of them we repurposed into like a playhouse for one of the teachers, and I moved it into their backyard, and we like set it all up. It was really cool.
Yeah. Think back 5 years ago. Did you envision that this is where you would be? Probably not, because you said you wanted to do something else.
Well, that was 8 years ago that I thought that. So, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, I didn't think I would be a teacher. I like being a teacher. It feels really rewarding. It feels really fun. I like having the freedom that I have, but I did not think that like this is where I would be. I don't know. I guess I didn't really have a plan, so it's kind of easy to do whatever feels good when you don't want to stick to this specific plan, or you're just open to different possibilities.
Get that. Being a teacher is one of my backup plans, which is why I did these internships in the first place, because last year I interned with Stephanie, the 6th grade art teacher, because if I don't become a big shot animator, super famous, all the money, I can just become a teacher. And I do like kids, and I think kids like me. That might be a stretch, but they're just really fun to talk to, and you like just watching them learn things, and it's just something. I just like it.
Yeah.
And I think you liking it would make me like it even more.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
Describe the most important leadership lesson that you've learned.
That one's an easy one. It's to take accountability, listen, and be solution-oriented while listening at the same time. So, like, I had come into this, like, conflict where I was doing this action that was like having negative effects. So I had this like intent, and the impact that was happening from that intent of the action was not aligned. And so then I had to like repair that relationship somehow. And so what I had to do was just be like really open and really honest with what I had done, and take accountability for it, and then listen to how my actions had like affected that person, and then understand their needs and what they were feeling and how that affected them, and then make some plan to like not do that again, but also like keep that trust with that person. So it was like, I think part of a leader is like you're gonna have to make some decisions that affect a lot of people, and being able to understand and listen and like empathize with who you're working with, and be able to say like, hey, I have to make this decision, and I know that this is your position on it. How can we like make some accommodations for you so that this is feeling like it's okay, like we have to go in this direction, but I know that you're like, you know, opposed to it. So I think there's a lot of like accountability, empathy, and then like bringing all that into the sort of solutions or things that you're trying to implement has been a really good like leadership lesson for me.
Yeah, I get that, because you know, empathy and learning about the other person, and once you learn about the other person, then you can learn really how to like help them, like, and push them to where you want them to be. If that makes sense. I don't know. That's something I need to learn, because I struggle a lot with leading, like, as it is, because with especially with kids and with my nephew and stuff, I'd be like, go do this thing, and then when he doesn't do the thing, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, I still need to learn how to like push myself to be more of a leader. That's also another thing with the internship, is what I kind of want to learn, like to step out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So that's
we can do that.
Yeah. Describe the most valuable work characteristics for success in this career.
It is to know that behavior is communication.
That's true.
And to know that it's not personal. that students like walk into the classroom and they're there with you for 45 minutes, and that what you do to them affects them and what you do with them affects them, but they're also like having a whole nother world of experiences that they're just like getting loaded up with, and then coming into the classroom, and if they feel safe with you, then they might share some of those things with you, and if they don't quite know you, then they'll probably like have some sort of adverse, you know, reactions if you're trying to control them in those ways that you were saying, like go do this, go do, you know. So just like knowing that it's not you, and that they have their own things going on, and that to better understand them is a better way to like be a classroom teacher. So if you know that like the student has a 4-month-old baby brother that they take care of because their mom works nights, you know, maybe that's why they're tired in the morning and like a little bit grouchy and didn't have breakfast, or you know, things like that. So just the like being able to have empathy and be caring and open and thoughtful, and like having that capacity for students is really, really hard to hold as you're like also an individual and you're trying to like deal with your own things. So just like finding that space and time for that.
What advice would you give me, the student, to get to where you are now?
I would say hone your craft, like get really good at the thing that you really like. Be open to feedback and critique, but also know that like not all feedback and critique is worth taking. You can pick and choose. Be open to like building relationships with people that you might not have like a direct contact or like a direct connection with, where you're like, oh, I don't really know why this would benefit me, but I've learned that like you never really know who you'll like rely on or like make an impression on. And so I think it's always important to just be thoughtful, like when you're going into new spaces and meeting new people, like how are you presenting yourself, and like what sort of, you know, impression are you leaving them with? Because I don't know, I think I've gotten here because I have been explicit to like leaving that open, and like really been intentional of like, oh, I'm going to this like work event with all these people I don't know, or like a friend's work event. I might meet someone here that like could have a connection that I might use later on. And so it's like always important to just keep those options open.
For the most part.
I would say like just some like specific things that I think of that I'm really conscious of whenever I'm meeting new people is I remember their name, and I use it in conversation when I'm talking with them. Like, oh, that was great, Sarah. Like, thanks for sharing that story. People want to talk about themselves. So if you can get someone to talk about an experience, a story, something that they have, and then you're like asking more questions about it, people feel that. They like, oh, this person's really interested in me. They like want to know more about what I'm doing. That leaves an impression. And then also like making callbacks. This is something that people do in like comedy routines or like movies or improv skits, but like if you call back to like something that they previously said, then it shows them like, oh, they're listening, they're remembering what I'm saying. And that I think just like has always ended up being good for me to like leave a positive impression, like, oh, this person really cares. So
thank you for that.
Yeah.
I remember faces more than I remember names. I'm really bad with remembering names, but like I feel like remembering faces is also a good thing. Mm-hmm. As long as you remember what you talked about, and like, hey, I know you. You're that person who talked about that thing at the fair the other day.
People
but
love
like,
that.
You, like you don't know like their name, but like you do know that you know about that person.
Yeah.
So that's a skill I've always had. But like, I think that the name reading thing, like when you said like my name back, like that could help me remember their name.
Yeah.
More. But yeah.
Cool.
You give good advice, Shane.
You asked for it, so.
Yeah. Thank you, Shane.
Of course.
Goodbye.
All right, let's head back.